Well, I'm below decks on 8 and
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Midnight in Moscow. There go the crowd. Wow.
So beautiful. So beautiful.
The snow as well, Gabby. Fabulous.
It looks like a picture postcard. It actually doesn't
Incredible.
look real. And what a midnight for them.
Very
After
much
today's
This was a very
news.
special
Incredible.
day for them, indeed. Historic day, more senses than one.
The snow falls as we reach midnight
Oh,
in Moscow.
look at that. Oh, Alan, isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful pictures, absolutely beautiful pictures.
I think Jeremy Spake might be in the middle of that lot.
I think it's probably on the floor somewhere.
It's probably on top of the Christmas tree, I would think.
Now, Michael.
This is one of the oldest
Sorry,
hotels
Alan,
in
carry
Moscow
on.
there. We were just looking at some happy faces. Meanwhile, outside, very much colder. People enjoying themselves. It's giving Sydney a run for its money, I think.
It is.
I love that. It's a wonderful, assertive, confident Russian architecture, isn't it? It's bold statements it makes, those buildings. Look so wonderful lit like that,
I
so
know,
dramatic.
The lighting is
Well,
incredible.
wonderful.
They don't look real.
So that's midnight then in Moscow. Russians celebrating a very, very special moment in their history. As we said, for more senses, or more reasons than one.
I wonder what the new Millennium can bring them now with all their changes today.
Certainly the crowd cheering at the moment.
Okay.
Absolutely wonderful. Incredible. And all those hats. You want one of those hats, don't you?
I do. Get on the blow to Jeremy
We
immediately.
will. I don't know if
before
we
he
won't
passes out.
I don't think we'll be able to find him now. Now, hopefully, I think we're going to Scotland again, aren't we? Yes? We're going up to Scotland and Ali Bain. That was wonderful. Thank you very much, Ali Bain in Scotland. But now we're going over to Michael Burke for the latest news.
Boris Yeltsin has resigned as the president of Russia. He left the Kremlin straight after making the surprise announcement. The Indian Airlines hijack is over. The hostages are safe. And the party has started. Midnight is less than 3 hours away. Good evening. President Clinton and Tony Blair have both praised Boris Yeltsin's role in ending communism. Mr. Yeltsin resigned as president of Russia in a surprise move this morning, telling the Russian people that he'd done all he could. And he named the Prime Minister, Vladimir Putin, as interim president until elections next March.
After years of fevered speculation about what would come after Boris Yeltsin, it all ended like this. Thank you very much, Vladimir Putin said, casually accepting the leadership of the world's largest country. The transfer of the secure briefcase containing the nuclear button and control of Russia's strategic arsenal came next. Boris Yeltsin is master of the dramatic surprise. He used his traditional New Year address to drop his greatest and last bombshell. And in the poignant final moments of the reign of Tsar Boris, perhaps this is his greatest gift to Russia, that the long-awaited transition, when it finally came, was low-key, informal, and smoother than anyone he had dared imagine. Tonight, Vladimir Putin made his first presidential address at midnight, a new face for the new millennium. There will be no power vacuum, he said. There was a warning, too. Anyone who tries to act outside the constitution, he said, will be crushed.
Boris Yeltsin leaves the stage much as he entered it, with a dramatic gesture that leaves his political opponents in bewildered disarray. Tonight, he becomes the first leader of this ancient nation to walk voluntarily out of office and into retirement. Alan Little, BBC News, Moscow.
The week-long hijacking of an Indian Airlines plane in Afghanistan is over. India freed 3 Islamic prisoners, one of them British. They and the hijackers left for an unknown destination. Most of the hostages have returned to Delhi.
Amid the wreckage of the Afghan conflict, the agony of Flight 814 reached its end today at the airport of Kandahar. The plane has sat here for a week. This afternoon, a sudden flurry of activity. Negotiators from the Indian government arrived to concede to some of the hijackers' demands. The Indian foreign minister was escorted across the tarmac to seal the hostages' freedom. On news of the deal, the hijackers warily emerged from the plane. Their identities are still unclear. Under the deal, this man and 2 accomplices go free. The hostages were whisked to another waiting airliner to be flown to Delhi. To buy their freedom, India agreed to free from jail 3 men convicted of fighting for Kashmiri separatism. Relieved Taliban militiamen were praised by Indian officials for their handling of the crisis. 8 days in, 1 man dead, and the hijack is over. The hostages are free. But the damage to the always fraught relationship between India and Pakistan is still to be calculated. From India have come hints that Muslim Pakistan sympathized with this act of terror. The hijacking will only worsen the tension on the Indian subcontinent. Adam Brooks, BBC News, Kandahar.
Celebrations are underway across the United Kingdom as we approach midnight and the new millennium. Hundreds of thousands of people are converging on city centres for firework displays, concerts, and other parties. A network of beacons are being lit across the land.
At Greenwich, home of time, the largest dome in the world is ready for Britain's most spectacular party. Many of the 10,000 invited guests are already there, even if some had to queue for undelivered tickets. Those simply partying in the streets are filling all the space cleared of cars. And an hour ago, the Prime Minister launched the other spectacular addition to the capital's skyline, British Airways London Eye. It may be a very empty as well as a very big wheel after failing to get safety clearance for the big night, but that didn't stop the fireworks. Already the whole nation is marking the millennial year. Cardiff too is exploding tons of fireworks at the heart of Welsh celebration. Edinburgh is still laying claim to its title as the only place to be at any Hogmanay, however special. South of the border, Newcastle paraded the biggest big drum in the world. Manchester stared the Millennium bug in the eye and survived.
Unbelievable!
But many parties today are powerful because they're simple and small. Shetland celebrated the traditional way, where they're always well prepared for the long winter darkness. A chain of beacons is being lit from top to bottom of Britain. This flame at Cushendall in Northern Ireland lights up a wall with a brick for each of the 2,000 years since the birth of Christ. And a few minutes ago, the Queen arrived at Southwark Cathedral to stress the religious and spiritual significance of this very special night. And around the dome at Greenwich, people are still pouring in through the stations, amid reports that some hundreds are still waiting desperately to pass security checks after the organisers failed to get tickets to them at home in time. But for all those who do get in, they're promised the party of 1,000 years. James Robbins, BBC News.
More than half the world's population has now entered the new millennium. There have been spectacular ceremonies to herald the year 2000, starting in the South Pacific this morning, then taking in Japan, China and India. So far, there have been no reports of problems caused by the so-called Millennium computer bug.
The Messiah performed at midnight on a Pacific island in the first seconds of the year 2000. New Zealand was the first industrialised nation to enter the Millennium year. The sky over Auckland Harbour was filled with light. On the ground, the first test of arrangements to counter the Millennium computer bug. Everything went smoothly. Entering the world moments after midnight in an Auckland hospital, one of the first babies born in the year 2000.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Midnight in Sydney, Australia. "20 tons of fireworks, watched by more than 1 million people, gathered around Sydney Harbour. The most spectacular city celebration so far. It passed without serious incident. Tokyo, Japan. The bells rang out in this non-Christian country in recognition of a calendar date based on the birth of Christ. The celebrations were repeated across the largely non-Christian continent of Asia. This was Beijing, this the Indian capital, Delhi. Coming further west, this was the scene a short time ago in the Russian capital, Moscow. Back on the islands in the Pacific, 6 hours after midnight came dawn. The first dawn of the year 2000. Nicholas Witchell, BBC News.
Stars from stage and screen dominate this year's Millennium New Year's Honours list. Elizabeth Taylor, Julie Andrews and Shirley Bassey all become dames. Sean Connery, the comic Norman Wisdom and the racing driver Stirling Moss are knighted. And from the business world, there are knighthoods for Richard Branson and Alan Sugar. A total of more than 2,000 people have been honoured. A 33-year-old man has appeared in court charged with the attempted murder of the former Beatle George Harrison and his wife Olivia. Michael Abram was bailed by magistrates to be detained at a psychiatric unit. George Harrison is spending his second night in London's Harefield Hospital. He was stabbed in the chest but is reported to be recovering well. An RAF helicopter has taken part in the rescue of 17 people, including 2 children, in the Mediterranean Sea. The group had abandoned a sinking cargo ship off the coast of Cyprus. They were drifting in 2 life rafts when they were picked up. That's it. That's nearly all the news for 1999.
Hello, good evening. With just hours to go before the year 2000, politicians and business leaders are saying they're confident there'll be few problems caused by the so-called Millennium bug. In Edinburgh, the Scottish Executive has established a nerve centre to monitor events. The Y2K Minister Henry McLeish says he's sure the new millennium will come in without any major dramas.
What we want to do is to be in a position that if anything does happen, there is a central focus for activity. We will monitor very carefully what's happening, and of course if any problems arise then we can tackle them at source. This is unique in the world really, because even in England and Wales they're not having a monitoring unit like this. So I think Scotland has not only taken it seriously in terms of preparation, we want everybody to be reassured on the evening that somebody is watching over them and the computer systems to make sure there are no glitches.
Well, in just over a couple of hours' time, people across the UK will be singing probably the world's most famous song, Auld Lang Syne. But they might be surprised to know that the tune they'll be singing isn't the one that Robert Burns intended. And of course, few of them will remember all the words. But all that may be about to change.
Whether you're at the Edinburgh Military Tattoo, or the Labour Party conference, in the Red Army, or here at Netherley Primary in East Renfrewshire, if you're going to say goodbye with music, this is the one that has the world singing for the same songbook. Although the tune we know is not the one Burns intended.
Should auld acquaintance be forgot, and never broke to mine? Should auld acquaintance be forgot, and auld lang syne?
The old melody was replaced by Burns's editor, George Thompson.
Thompson's pretensions to musical taste often actually meant that he was wrecking Burns's verses in trying to shove them into the wrong tunes, or tunes that he thought more suitable and more appropriate and more genteel. But on this occasion, I think it was a very happy accident.
The Burns manuscript of the lyrics, purchased for more than £100,000 by Glasgow City Council, goes on display early in the new year. Now, however you decide to dress for the big night, formally or informally, it would be a good idea if you actually did know the words to Auld Lang Syne. And if you come and shop at this particular chain of supermarkets, then help is at hand. Tracy, thank you. Here, on the back of the till receipts, they've actually printed the words to all 5 verses, so now you have no excuse.
And there's a hand, my trusty friend.
And give a hand all mine.
And we'll take a right goodwill, leave up for Auld Lang Syne.
For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne.
We'll talk a cup o' kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne.
Well, you better get practicing right now. That's it from us for 1999. From all of us here on UK Today, have a great start to the year 2000. We'll be back tomorrow lunchtime. Bye for now.
I am Mrs. Bradley.
Driver wanted.
I see an older woman in your life.
Must be intelligent.
George, I need your body.
Loyal.
George stays where I stay. And very.
Charming.
Bravo, George.
And peculiarly fond of dead bodies.
I should have thought that was fairly obvious, George.
Thoroughly modern murder. Diana Rigg is Mrs. Bradley.
A real pleasure.
New drama. Starts Sunday, 16th of January on BBC One.
Hello and welcome to our final forecast of the year, and in fact the final forecast of the millennium. 1999 turned out to be quite a warm year, in fact the warmest since records began back in 1659. But the problem we have right now for our evening celebrations is going to be the rain. We've had a band of rain steadily moving down across a large part of the United Kingdom. That rain tending to peter out a little bit as it moves further south, but we are going to see eventually some brighter weather for New Year's Day. There's that blanket of cloud. We are going to see, as I mentioned, some rain coming and going through the evening. Probably drier, I think, for Northern Ireland and for a large part of Scotland in between some of those showers. Quite chilly as well. And the forecast, I think, as dawn breaks for a large part of the United Kingdom, is a fine, dry day. The dawn of a new millennium will be a bit chilly. I think temperatures close to freezing for Belfast and also Glasgow. Further south, perhaps a little bit of cloud left behind. And our forecast, I think, for the weekend, well, some showery outbreaks of rain left in the southeast of England, but really we're looking at a fine weekend to come with a lot of sunshine. Temperatures in the range of perhaps 8 or 9 on Saturday, on New Year's Day, and temperatures as we move into Sunday perhaps a little bit cooler. A few mist and fog problems first thing in the morning. We are going to see some dry weather. That's all from me. Have a great new millennium. Bye for now.
Two hours, 40 minutes left, and throughout today and tomorrow we're taking a look at the whole world, taking a snapshot of the human race as we pass into the new millennium. Thanks to the time zones, the new year arrives at different times for different countries, and each nation will be marking the dawn of their millennium in their own particular way. Let's have a view now from one of the world's great travellers. Would you welcome David Attenborough? David.
I've been up here on the crow's nest watching pictures coming in from all around the world. There's such a big global party going on, I reckon you could probably see it from space. Let's go first to Germany, to Leipzig. There's a big party going on in the town square with all kinds of shenanigans. But in the Gewandhaus, what else should they be playing but Beethoven's Ode to Joy, with the Gewandhaus Orchestra conducted by Herbert Blomstedt. Goodness me. Now farther east to Warsaw, Poland, where the traditional is mixing with the modern in a special fanfare for the year 2000. I wonder if he can hear himself. And now to Manger Square in Dublin. It seems the whole of Ireland is here, enjoying traditional and unmistakable Irish music. And now, equally unmistakable, who could not know what this is? Flamenco from Spain, from Seville, a flamenco festival. Wow. Well, back to you, Michael.
Thank you, Ash. We're going to David Attenborough and to Dame Edna Everidge at 1 o'clock, an hour after the big ball now.
It's not long now, is it?
We're standing up because she can't sit down. Veronica Lake here. She's got
this
wonderful frock on, which is totally beautiful but totally impractical.
Totally impractical. And I can't walk in my sandals, but apart from any of that.
You look very nice, actually.
Thank you
it's
very
really
much.
beautiful. Was it made by somebody we know?
Neil Cunningham.
Oh, Neil Cunningham. Who's Neil Cunningham? All right. Right, into the lottery now. This is going to be a night to remember for all of us, whether those memories be of emotional moments with friends and family, or of ending up upside down in a hedge singing Bohemian Rhapsody.
That'll be you tomorrow, eh?
That's a very nice image. I did upside down singing Bohemian. I've done many things, but never that. Anyway, but for a happy few, there's the possibility their lives will never be the same again. Now, some people could be remembering tonight as the moment they became rich, because tonight we're going to make some millionaires.
Quite a few.
We are indeed. It's time for the first of tonight's national lottery draws. And of course, to make the lottery draws, it looks fantastic.
Thank you, Michael.
I'm breathless. I think I'm falling in love. Which reminds me,
Mary's here.
I was thinking of Dale Winton.
Oh, Dale Winton!
Thank you. Well, this has to be the greatest New Year's Eve party ever. Now, if you really want to become a millionaire, this is the only place to be. And you don't have to phone a friend. We have two mighty Millennium national lotteries for you tonight, and between them we're going to establish a world record for the number of millionaires created in one night. Welcome to Millionaires Are Us. Coming up very shortly is the first big draw of the night and the last one of this century. Now, the second draw will take place at about half an hour into the new century. Now, the two draws are very different, but the ticket you bought for the first one automatically enters you into the second, so don't lose it. But before that, let's have some music from a band that sells in millions. Let's go straight to Edinburgh and say hello to Texas and Charlene Spiteri!
Hi, Dale.
Hi, Charlene.
How are you?
I'm fabulous. What a crowd you've got there tonight.
We've got an unbelievable crowd that's happening here in Edinburgh.
Well, we can't wait to hear you sing. What number are you doing for us tonight, Charlene?
We're going to do When We Are Together. Let's go.
I always make mistakes in my head.
Texas, wonderful, thank you. Now, since the lottery began in 1994, no less than £7.6 billion has gone to good causes. And here are just some of the ways your money has been spent.
The Dome, just one of the thousands of projects benefiting from the Millennium Commission. Our rare flora and fauna are being protected thanks to environmental projects. And across the country, there are landmark projects which have created new attractions as diverse as the Tate Modern and the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, proud host of this year's Rugby World Cup. Many city centres are being improved too with the Commission's money, so they'll look good for the third millennium. So who's been helped by the Arts Council? Well, small theatres to major landmark buildings such as the Royal Opera House and Shakespeare's Globe. The British film industry is enjoying a revival, and it's being aided by lottery cash, as are brass bands, rock bands, arts training centres and male voice choirs. Over £54 million has been spent on the creation of public art. It's estimated that over 6 million people have viewed lottery-funded works. The Council's initiative Arts for Everyone has allowed the individual to flourish in the arts by supporting community and amateur groups across the country. The National Lottery Charities Board was set up to help the most disadvantaged groups in our community. So far, the board has awarded well over £1.4 billion to 28,000 schemes across the UK. You don't have to be a registered charity to qualify for a grant, just an organisation that benefits your local community. Those that have benefited so far are the elderly, children and young people, the disabled and the homeless. £16 million has also gone towards medical research. Protecting the UK's heritage is a full-time job. In the last 5 years, the fund has made over 3,000 awards, totalling over £1 billion. The largest grant went to the restoration of the Kennet and Avon Canal. Perhaps you know of a local beauty spot or historic building that's been given a much-needed makeover. Or you know of a cathedral or church that's been saved from rack and ruin thanks to a substantial award. Museums, galleries, historical manuscripts and 11 peers have all benefited from heritage grants. Established in July last year, the New Opportunity Fund is the new kid on the block, but it's already awarded over £133 million. So who benefits? Everybody. Its aim is to improve the quality of life for people throughout the UK. So far, it's supported out-of-school hours childcare, out-of-school hours learning and training for teachers and librarians. It'll promote health through a network of healthy living centres and join the fight against cancer. £93 million has already been awarded to hospitals for new and replacement equipment to detect, diagnose and treat cancer. And the sports councils of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland are providing opportunities for everyone. Every month, the councils help between 60 and 70 projects. Nearly £1 billion has been distributed. You might be aware of a local club that's received much-needed cash or a sports centre that's been built with lottery money, making community sports a clear winner. The fund is also helping the nation's most talented individuals, hoping to improve our haul of medals. When these individuals take part in Manchester 2002, they'll be competing using facilities built with lottery money. And this is how some of the £7.6 billion generated by the National Lottery so far is being used.
Now we're nearly ready for the first of tonight's 2 games. Now for this draw, you pick 6 years from this century, and the machine is now going to pick 5 years and a bonus. If you get 2 or more years, then you're a winner. Now don't worry about the extra years the computer chose for you. They're the big ones at the bottom of the ticket. But you'll need those for our second Big Draw 2000 later tonight. So now, it's draw time!
There we are. There is the machine, and it will appear before us very shortly, I'm sure. And we'll be able to tell you all about our estimated prize fund on this National Lottery Big Draw 2000. At any second now, we shall be able to make our draw, which will be good news. We've also got another draw coming later, of course, on BBC One. That'll be at around about midnight, and that's the one for which you will need the 2 years at the bottom of your Big Draw 2000 ticket. Dale, how's it looking?
Well, Alan, at the moment it's looking a bit tricky, I have to say, because it seems to be the Millennium Bug has struck slightly earlier than we thought it would, and the machine is stuck as you can see, between those wonderful video walls there. So at the moment, John is looking anticipatory. Our adjudicator's waiting to come along.
OK, if you go up and talk to John
Well, Barbara's here, so I guess if Barbara would like...
Go on up there and see if we can do it up there.
Barbara, do you want to come and join me, my darling? Put your hands together for Barbara.
Yeah, let's do it.
Come here, gorgeous. Come on.
Oh, is it working?
Come on. Come on, darling.
Hello, everybody.
Dale, if you go up there, we can do the draw up there, I think, if you move up towards the machine together.
Okay, my lovely.
Good. As you can see, Barbara, as most things with live telly, we do have a slight problem. I've just seen John William trying to push the machine on. While they're getting it sorted,
yes, darling.
I must say congratulations to you today on the MBE.
I know.
It's fantastic. Which is just wonderful.
I'm a laddie now.
You're a laddie, and I was just thinking, with a name like Windsor, next year you've got to be a dame.
Oh, there is nothing like a dame.
Oh, she's dancing already.
I'm so happy. I cannot tell you, my lovely friend.
Dale, the machine has started, so if you'd like to wander up to the machine, we'll actually do the draw.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's
do it. Let's go up there and do the draw.
Did you have a nice Christmas, sweetheart?
I had a lovely Christmas, Barbara. It was fantastic.
Okay. Hello, darling.
There you go, my darling. Would you like to go up there? That's fantastic.
Okay.
Right, the machine is underway, so I think we should release the balls. And as we make sure that all the balls are well and truly shaken and stirred, let me bring you news of the estimated prize fund for this first game in Big Draw 2000. It's £45,900,000. So, indeed, Barbara. Whoa! Barbara Windsor, MBE, would you please press the button and start the first of our Millennium draws here on 2000 Today?
Everybody, good luck and a very happy new year. I'm so very happy.
Excellent. Don't forget you need 2 or more main years to win a prize. Just 2. Good luck! The first one out is about to appear. There it is, 1986. Have you got that one? Let's have another year. Second one, 1950. And the third year to be drawn tonight on Big Draw 2000 is 1918. 1918. Have you got these years? 1985, let me just check that one. It's 1958. 1958 is the 4th number. And the 5th is 1901. So there we are. We need a bonus year now. It's about to appear. 1903. Slightly in the gathering gloom, but those winning years again then in ascending order are 1901, 1918, 1950, 1958, and 1986. The bonus year, if you need it, is 1903.
Thank you, Alan. So there you are. I hope those years have been lucky for you, but remember, you have another chance to make $1 million in our second Big Draw 2000 at about a 20 to 5 to 1 tomorrow morning. So the first national lottery draw of the new millennium just after 12:30. We'll see you later and have a great time till then. Have a good time.
Bye.
Lovely time with my lovely children.
In one revolution, in one day, we bring you the world.
Tell me what you're going to do. Well, down here at the dome, the lights flashing on the dome there, things are starting to move. And what we're waiting for is the arrival of the Queen here at the dome. She's coming downriver from Southwark, and on the way she's going to light a beacon, one of 1,000 beacons being lit all around the country. There it is, by Tower Bridge, that huge 30-foot gas beacon, which the Queen has just lit. And there are going to be thousands of those lit all around the country and also around the key regions. The Queen came down after a service at Southwark Cathedral, boarded this boat, and at the same time, down in Cardiff, where we joined Sian Lloyd, another beacon has been lit.
It represents the rebirth of the Welsh nation, higher than any. And with me is the one and only Johan here. How does it feel, Johan, to do this?
Oh, it's a great honour and a privilege for me to lightly speaking on behalf of the people of Wales.
Wonderful. We're back with you in a few minutes' time. Now it's over to Noah Thompson in Belfast.
Hello and welcome again to Belfast. We're going to see the beacon being lit in just a moment, but here I'd like to welcome you first on the banks of the Lagan to two people who were very important in the setting up of the first beacon, which they helped to light at a ceremony in the Songs of Praise broadcast from Birmingham earlier this year. Now it's Leanne Martin and Brendan Grimes. Hello to you both. It's nice to have you back. Leanne, what does it mean to you to be lighting the flame tonight?
It's very, very special, you know, like nobody else in Northern Ireland has this honour, like me and Brendan's only two picks, so it's really privileged.
And what do you look forward to in the new millennium?
The most important thing I really look forward to is really peace, I think, you know.
And Brendan, what about your ambitions and your wishes on a personal and on a global level for the new millennium?
Well, I'd really like to see peace here and abroad and end third world debt.
And for in your own life, what would be the best thing that could happen to you?
Peace here.
Really peace.
Yeah.
Okay, well look, we'll see you both lighting the beacon in a few minutes, but now it's over to Edinburgh and Kirsty.
Well, here in Edinburgh, we're about to light the beacon. The beacon's been decided by Maggie McManus, a 20-year-old student who won a national competition, and she's lit it. And the beacon is alight in Edinburgh. There we go, it's going straight up to the top. Well, we're just about to see it lit. We hope she lit the taper that was going to lead all the way up to this amazing structure that she designed. It's a Georgian structure to reflect the Georgian architecture of Edinburgh, overlaid with Celtic influences.
And back here in London, the Queen, who's on a ship called Millennium of Peace, has lit this beacon, still burning there by Tower Bridge. And there are in all 1,000 beacons, not all being lit at the same time. These are being lit in different parts of the country at different times. Tower Bridge opens to let the Queen through. Trumpeters played up above her as she went through. And she's on her way from here down through the old docks of the River Thames. She has Wapping on the left, Bermondsey on the right, through the Pool of London to Limehouse, past all the famous old docks that are now closed, until she'll reach, in a few minutes' time, the Meridian line, 0 degrees, the north-south line we've been talking about all day, where HMS Westminster, the frigate, is moored, and where there will be a 21-gun salute as she goes past. And so we go from here now to Belfast, where the beacon is about to be lit.
Here we are on the Lagan bank. Behind us you see the new waterfront hall, and the Lord Mayor is up there with Leanne Martin and Brendan Grimes, the two young people who carried the beacon back from Birmingham early in the year, since when it's been housed in the offices of Omagh Council in County Tyrone. And now the two together take the flame and lift it up to light this Millennium beacon, which will go round the country. And there she blows.
Tower Bridge again, and the green laser beams flashing, and the flame there over the city. This, of course, is the centre. There's been a lot of criticism about London being too much the centre of these events, but this is, after all, the capital city, and this is the centre of events tonight. Crowds have been coming here from all over southern England, certainly, and perhaps the rest of the country as well, to see the wall of fire and the huge firework display, bigger than anything that has ever been seen, not just in this country, but in the world at the end of this. And that's going to happen just after the stroke of midnight. Meantime, though, the Queen is still on her way, the Tower of London there, and she'll come down the river and pass HMS Westminster for the 21-gun salute. There you see all the 4 beacons of the 4 countries or provinces of the United Kingdom, the 4 capital cities, or the 4 big cities of the United Kingdom, with their flames burning away there. This is a tradition that goes back in warfare a long way. When the warning of the Spanish Armada was given, it was given this way. But also at VE Day, for instance, when that was being celebrated in '95, this beacon lighting right round the country rather caught on. And it's a nice way of celebrating. So we will rejoin the Queen when she reaches the frigate and the 21-gun salute. And in the meantime, let's rejoin Gabby Roslin.
Thank you very much. You know, I'm a Londoner born and bred, and I have to say those pictures are absolutely magnificent. Make me go all tingly. Really lovely.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be quite a night for people in hospitals all over the country, whether they be staff, patients, or just people who have celebrated so much they've forgotten where they live. It's all about anticipation at this stage. And people who know a lot about that particular subject are those anticipating a happy event, namely mums and dads-to-be. Nick Knowles, hopefully he's in the maternity unit now at Southampton Hospital. Are you there, Nick?
Hello there. Yes, we've lost the light for us. Oh, it's come back on again. Thank goodness for that. Hello, Gabby. Yes, we are down in maternity ward, and it's all very exciting, actually, because, well, there's Sue, of course, midwife Sue, who has been taking us through this evening. Would you like to introduce us to everyone?
I certainly can. This is Linda, and this is Ian, and they're in here expecting twins. And I have to say that Linda's been dabbling around in labour for the last couple of days. And it's
2 days?
Well, it's been almost longer than that. Well, almost. And it's been going really very slowly, and suddenly this evening it started to accelerate, and she's looking to hopefully be delivering around about midnight. I mean, that's what we're projecting at the moment. But
Good, good. So you may well be having the Millennium baby. Yeah, that's the thing, I suppose, with two. There's a possibility of one being born in each millennium.
Yeah.
A boy and a girl. A boy and a girl, is that what you're hoping for? Or do you know?
We do, we know.
We know it's a boy and a girl. And possibly one, somewhere, what time do you think, how are you feeling at the moment? Shouldn't you be going...
No, it's all under control.
Is it? You seem very relaxed.
On the surface.
You're terrified, but that's...
He's all right.
The men do this so...
Ask me in an hour's time.
The men do this so much more badly than the women do. So, but the other thing is, this is a very important baby, isn't it? I mean, all babies are important, but a bit special.
These are very special babies because they're IVF, and this was your third attempt, wasn't it? And really worked well.
Oh, actually, if you can all get quiet for a minute, listen. Can you hear that heartbeat? Isn't that fantastic? There they are in there.
They're there.
Good luck. We're going to come back to you and see whether you actually managed to make it for the Millennium. Good luck.
Okay.
Whether you make it or not, good luck for the Millennium, and good luck for the babies. Thank you for talking to us. Isn't that fantastic to be allowed in there like that? Now, of course, the other thing is A&E. Around the rest of the hospital, A&E is very busy. I'll let you get on, Sue, because we're going to come and do something with you in a second, aren't we? We were expecting it to be very busy, but the lady who can tell us is Sister Kathy Lakin. Kathy.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Is it busy?
It's not busy at the moment, but we're expecting about 12:30. Everybody's going to come piling in, so we're just getting
really?
the sites up and ready
what
for
sort
it.
of things are you expecting?
Well, we're expecting people to have not taken as much lemonade with their drinks as they should have done, possibly, and injuries related to people celebrating the Millennium mainly, I think.
So how are you going to... Have you got stuff stocked up to look after those people that have drunk a bit too much?
I've got several boxes of intravenous fluids, which I hope none of us will be needing later. But we'll be giving these to patients who've taken too much alcohol, because the tendency is that they're likely to be dehydrated, and we want to rehydrate them as quickly as possible so they get intravenous fluids.
OK, and I know for a fact, Kathy, that you have something like 21 extra ambulance services on as well.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that, Kathy. And maybe... Oh, there you go, you bumped into a wall. Stay there. I just want to show you, the first Millennium baby gets this. Are we ready to synchronise watches? Because we need to know. So have you all got the time? Right. Nobody knows the time? I'll tell you what, we'll find out what the... Oh, go on then.
Well, it's just coming up now. I think it's 10 to 10.
Synchronising watches so we know when the first Millennium baby arrives. Fantastic. Back to you in the studio.
On that subject of Millennium babies, I was taken by a letter in the Telegraph which says, Dear sir, no doubt many parents will be pleased to have a child born on January 1st, 2000. Some of these Millennium babies, when they grow up, may not be pleased when they realise they were conceived on All Fool's Day. There's always one, isn't there? Always one to have worked it out. Let's go to David Attenborough now. David.
Well, judging from the pictures we're getting up here, the party is really taking off. There's just less than an hour to go before continental Europe greets the new millennium. Let's see what's going on in Prague. Well, it's a night for music. They're entertaining the crowds in the old town square with a swing version of, believe it or not, Roll Out the Barrel. And in Vienna, home of the waltz, the whole city has been turned into a giant ballroom. And in Greece, there's a spectacular welcome for the new millennium from the place which, for 2,500 years, has reminded us of one of the most glorious periods of human civilization, the Acropolis. There's a concert performance with the themes of light, music, and the human voice. Around the Parthenon are 3 different choirs, including a children's choir of 500, a Byzantine choir, and another mixed voice choir. 1,500 voices in all will sing in turn short extracts from 3 hymns of symbolic importance: the Olympic anthem, the Byzantine hymn Light and Joy, and the hymn to freedom. Next to hit midnight will be the Middle East and South Africa, amongst others, followed by most of Europe, and then it'll be our turn, the moment 1999 becomes 2000 here. That's just over 2 hours and 10 minutes time. There are almost as many ways of celebrating that moment as there are people on Earth, but some will have very different reasons for remembering tonight. Lovely pictures there from Athens, and very shortly we're hoping to get pictures from South Africa.
That's right. Well, we're into a stage where I'm just thinking now that timeline that we've got, Bethlehem, and this has to be really the focal point of the whole Millennium celebrations, because it's the presumption that this baby was born in this cave under the church that was built in, I don't know, 300 AD afterwards. But that's the presumption that the whole world is working on. You know, even those thousands of millions of people who don't believe in Christianity, who are Muslims and Hindus and everything, are actually working to the time hinged to the presumed birth of this baby.
Do you get the sense so far that there is something more important happening than just a fireworks display then?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the big argument, of course, from the historians is that he couldn't possibly have been born 2,000 years ago, because he had to have been born in the reign of King Herod the Great, who died in 5 BC. And then the other assumption that a lot of historians and theologians make is he couldn't possibly have been born in Bethlehem either. So, but still, that's the way everybody is making this particular calculation.
It's been an extraordinary television event in that sense, of the way so that it's united billions of people around the... It's interesting to think about progress, because I mean, when I first started in television, when you did, I'm sure, this would have been absolutely, totally inconceivable. there's no way this could have happened at all. I mean, about 50 miles was as far as you could go, wasn't it? And now within a very short period of time, you've got this some miracle. I mean, I know that one or two things have gone down, and things have not been when they should be, but it is extraordinary that you can actually encircle the globe like this. With this electronically.
Yeah. It's what works, really, that's so astounding. Yes. And the fact that there's the odd glitch here and there, because the airwaves are just completely crisscrossing and having, having motorway pile-ups, I imagine, as they try and get these pictures going back and forth. But I think those two particular midnights are going to be very, very interesting. Bethlehem, of course, and also South Africa, because South Africa has been the place, if you like, of the 1990s, of reconciliation and so on.
Absolutely so.